Drink beer, it's good for you. I'm empty-handed and I'm feeling blue, and I'm gonna drink till the day that I die.
Hello and welcome to part 2 of my Grainfather Wort chilling guide. In this video I will share more information about the use of this counterflow chiller. If you have not already viewed part 1, then I would recommend that you start with this video before checking this one out. It goes without saying that the counterflow chiller is a very cleverly designed device. The design has it so that the cooling water enters the opposite end of the coil to your wort to allow wort to be cooled in one single pass. This allows your wort to quickly assume the temperature of your cold water supply. So essentially we have cold water going in and hot water coming out, hot wort going in and cold wort coming out. Due to this design we have a very effective and fast heat exchange that minimises water use and of course time. Comparing this to an immersion chiller essentially means that you will be using more water and more time. Chilling your wort quickly has several key benefits. Firstly, the quicker you can pitch your yeast, the far less likely you are of wild yeast taking hold of your wort. In addition to this, wild bacteria loves warm rich sugar wort, so a fast chilling turnaround will also protect your wort against contamination. Another key benefit is that a fast wort chilling process greatly assists in allowing protein in your wort to clump together and settle down. Thus, this greatly reduces protein in your wort, leading to better clarity in your end beer. The faster this change in temperature occurs, the better the end result. Naturally, this process does rely on water that is at least as cold as your desired wort temperature. For commercially available yeast strains, this is likely to be a temperature of around 18 degrees Celsius or 64 to 65 degrees Fahrenheit. But what should you do if your groundwater is higher than these temperatures during the hottest point of the year? Do not worry, help is at hand. I will start with some basic help and then progress into further methods. First and foremost, the Grainfather has a control valve at the top of the recirculation pipe, as shown on screen now. This valve is used exclusively for cooling wort. By utilising this valve you can slow down the flow of wort, and this will increase the contact time that the cooling water has with the wort. This will aid in a faster heat transfer. If you can chill down to within 10 degrees Celsius or 50 degrees Fahrenheit of pitching temperature, then for many brewers this will be close enough. They will then use a glycol chiller or similar to reduce the wort temperature down to pitching temperature. Naturally, the solution you use here needs to work quickly to avoid any potential issues. Another potential solution is to simply use yeast that has a higher temperature tolerance during that portion of the year that this is an issue for you. By doing this you are embracing your situation rather than acting against it, and I like that way of thinking. Some Saison style yeast, for example, can tolerate temperatures of 38 degrees Celsius or 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and some can handle even more. I have a Norwegian Kveg yeast that is more than happy at 42.5 degrees C, which is 108.5 degrees Fahrenheit. Do not think that these styles of yeast will break a beer that belongs to another style. Very often they can act to enhance it in a very special and good way. I have experimented with all manner of different types of yeast for different styles and really enjoy this type of experimentation, and very often the end result has been very good. And finally, a simple technique that will greatly aid in the cooling process further is to use the ice bed method. Here is a diagram on screen showing how this all fits together. The easiest way to do this is to connect an immersion chiller in a cooler box or an old fermentation bucket in between your cold water tap and the counterflow chiller. Another great tip is that by adding salt to your iced water, this will allow the temperature to drop even further. The main cost here is the immersion chiller itself, but I guess many of us have one of these laying around already from before we upgraded. If not, then you can save yourself some extra cash by simply making your own. This is very easy, and the last one I made some years back took less than 20 minutes. There are plenty of guides on how to do this online, so take a look if this method takes your fancy. This method of cooling is popular in certain areas of hotter countries like Australia. Here are some photos showing some of the setups some people out there have. As you can clearly see here, there is certainly more than one way to do this, and people tend to go with whatever is easiest for their own brewing environment. I suggest you do the same. This wraps up this second part guide on using the Grainfather Counterflow Wort Chiller. I do hope that you have found it to be useful, informative and enjoyable. So if you did like this video, then please do like it on YouTube. This really helps me out and allows the videos to be seen by a wider audience on YouTube. I have always got a lot of new videos planned for the future, so if you are interested in seeing my new content, then please subscribe for future content. If you have any questions on anything that I have covered in this video or any other video, then please do not hesitate to get in touch with me via YouTube or Facebook. I'm a member of pretty much every Grainfather Facebook group and more. Happy brewing!